What's up, guys? Lincoln here with Gordon. It's Friday, February 21st. Welcome to the FloTrack podcast. Final episode of the week. It's been a good first week for the podcast. Had some world records, shot at the world record. Plenty of fun theories posed by Gordon. Today's episode, we're going to talk about the world record that went on last night in the women's half marathon. We will talk some more about some trials. Olympic marathon trials, get into Amy Cragg pulling out of the race just yesterday, and who knows where else we'll go here, Gordon. First off, how you doing?
Doing good. Yourself?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
You didn't come into the office yesterday. What were you up to?
Well, my wife is having another baby, so we had a doctor's appointment, and then we just bought a house last month, so we went and are kind of starting to piece together some new furniture that we bought, and other than that, I just like to avoid the office from time to time. From here, every once in a while. There's the term I was looking for.
What new furniture?
Oh, basically all new furniture. All the furniture we bought when we first moved to Austin was IKEA. We first moved to Austin about 6 years ago.
So what's the next level after that?
We've moved on to Wayfair, I think, and then she's getting some stuff from Urban Outfitters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've had no say in the matter. I put together some IKEA stuff yesterday, which made me feel a little accomplished.
Not as accomplished as our girl out at the Rack Marathon, though, right?
There you go. Good transition.
Good transition.
Yeah, Ababel Yeshana.
I think your reaction of having to say that name was kind of the reaction people had when they realized it's not who we thought was going to win.
Yeah, I mean, it was set up to be a world record race, and it was as much. And Bridget Kosgei, who broke the marathon world record by 81 seconds, did get under the old record, but unfortunately for her, Ababel Yeshana, who, I'll be honest, I'd never heard of before last night, gets way under it, 20 seconds under it. I don't know if Kosgei went out too fast. I don't know if this record is really even relevant at all, because we see on the men's side, we'll have some guys run super fast that can't swing it in the marathon. But to see Kosgei go down, I think is evident that, maybe she's not necessarily, we can't automatically just give her every title in the marathon. Of course, this is a half, it's different, but there could be some challengers. This woman who beat Kosgei last night lost to Kosgei by 6 minutes plus at the Chicago Marathon. Now, Kosgei had a really, really good day and maybe not so great day, or just a so-so day yesterday, but that's significant that she could beat somebody who she lost to by a mile plus in the Chicago Marathon. I think that's pretty fascinating. I
think just in general, the longer road races, the more weirder results get, where you see people, bonk and do really poorly. You see people pop off really fast ones and then never do it again. There's something about those two races, the marathon and half marathon, that just there's not really consistency outside of Kipchoge. There's really people are all over Mo Farah could have a great race, but then also have a bad, what's his name? Gebre Selassie.
Yeah.
He's the king of it. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about Bekele.
Sorry.
Bekele, yeah. Yes, it is hard to get the distance right. I would say Kosgei still had a good run, but the half marathon, I think there's a reason Kipchoge doesn't run a lot of half marathons. One, he doesn't need to, but two, because any Joe Schmo seemingly can kind of come up and run a good fast half, especially when you're getting pacing the whole time. And literally, Yeshana crossed the finish line with her male pacer, right there. I think if they would do that again, they would have said, "Hey, Mr. Pacer Man, slide off because he's crossing with her at the same time." It doesn't really, to me, this result doesn't say anything about what's going to happen in the marathon. We don't even know if Yeshana will make the Ethiopian marathon team. She's only run 2:20. I would assume running 64:31 means you can run faster in the marathon. But this was kind of set up for Kosgei to be further proof that she's the best road racer in the world right now. And when she doesn't win, it's kind of whatever, throw it out. She's still the best marathoner. I don't know.
But if she runs the exact same time she ran last night, but doesn't have someone beat her, we'd be talking about it in a very different context.
One thing, that's true.
Because you'd be wow, she's unstoppable.
Yes, it's crazy how narratives can change with a few seconds. One thing I was thinking, though, 4 years ago, these two times would have qualified them for the men's U.S. Olympic trials, breaking 65 minutes.
What does that say? What does that say about
I would say that
women's elite running on the international stage, or what does it say more about men's U.S.?
Well, I would say looking at the standard, looking how many qualifiers the trials had for both the men and the women. Both races were both qualifying times, 2:19 for the men and 2:45 for the women. Too slow on both of those. Way too slow. 2:19 should not get you into the Olympic trials. And
what do you think is a perfect Olympic trials field size?
I mean, I would say make it like the Olympic marathon, maybe 100 or something. I don't know. How many guys make it
Why shouldn't it be 24?
Just 24 guys? Well, obviously that takes away the, I don't know if the marketability of it, but when you have so little amount of guys, I mean that. But
do we really think the 25th fastest guy or girl is going to?
No, it's not that. But
top three?
you want. I mean, I don't know.
You want participation.
You want participation. You want.
But you don't.
Entries.
You don't ask for participation.
It also
at the 10K.
galvanizes the sub-elite community to train for something, to participate in road races. I mean, it's not solely for this, but it kind of kicks up the road racing economy a little bit when you have thousands of people. I mean, for every 100 amount of guys who qualified and ran 2:18, there's thousands who ran 2:19:30. So it really builds up the road racing community. I would say every couple years, having people train for this and try to go for it, and they run in races all over the country. So it's good to have marks to where people can shoot for and qualify and participate in the sport and buy shoes and buy gear and really get the community going. I get that, but when you have women who can run under 65 minutes, which used to be the qualifying mark, I'd say things are a little too slow. Maybe bump it down a couple minutes. I don't know. We had so many qualifiers. I mean, like 680.
Well, I think they're going to
qualifiers.
They're going to bump it down.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be probably in the 2:30s range.
For the women, that'd be a significant cut there.
I mean, they're going to look at where the 200th person was this past section, and then probably make it that, if I had to guess.
It's just going to be interesting because this course in Atlanta is a loop course, and I know they've made cutoffs. Like if you're not at halfway, I believe, for the women on 3:15 pace, and the men's for 2:40 something pace, they're going to tell you to peel off the course.
Yeah. Well, if you're on 3:15, it's
it's but inevitably you'll have somebody who's maybe hit at the time and then got hurt. I mean, how many of these 680 people that are going to be there are actually 100% healthy? Probably there's going to be 10% of them that are not, and they're going to be having rough days in Atlanta.
How many of them are going to try to go for that photo shot where they're I'm going
bust out that first mile, man.
First mile, get that first mile pick.
Let's get that 4:45 first mile or 5:10 first mile.
Just standing right in the middle of the pack.
I love it.
Front with a 10-meter lead.
It's worth it to get that Kirby Lee glamour shot. I'd.
Would you do it though if you worked all your life to make the Olympic Trials Marathon as a
you're a
2:18:59 marathoner? How are you approaching this race?
No, I'm just gonna go out. I mean, it's not really a PR course. That's a problem. No, I'm just gonna go out and just try to have a solid effort. I'm not gonna try to be like, I can get down to 2:10 today. I'm really feeling that 9-minute PR. No, you just try to run a solid effort and do your best and realize that this is your Olympic Games. Or you could be like that guy 4 years ago who may or may not have been stoned during the race. What was that guy's name? I forget.
Who went out in the front mile?
No, he was walking. Remember the former Arkansas dude? Remember 4 years ago? Anyways, yeah. Whatever. That's a long story. A long time ago now. But
here's the thing though. Again.
You get a good vacation out of it. You run a marathon, it's hard, you go out and party the next. You have no illusions that you're going to qualify or run a 7-minute PR.
Yeah, okay, but here's the thing. They don't have a exhibition basketball game before the NBA Finals.
No, that's true, they don't. I would say there would be people who take other sports seriously, which is a lot of people would say, wait, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Wait, this is the NFC Championship game also includes the guys who played football in high school. It's they get to play a little bit too. It's what? No. It's a bit odd. Yeah, maybe, would the trials be more entertaining? Not more entertaining. I mean, it's already peak entertaining. But for those who follow the sport religiously, there's really no difference if you just hosted it like an elite marathon, in the sense that you have to have run under 2:13 for the men or something like that. like for me, that would be no different because I'm not getting anything out of watching Joe Schmo,
Well, the whole
start
idea
at the
is
beginning.
the whole purpose of 95% of the field is for, life, like feel-good stories and
Yeah.
personal achievement. And I get there is a positive, like you said, there's a positive to
And there's making some money back for the
Having-
LOC and USATF.
having like that door open for like, oh, maybe I can like live my dream.
Yeah.
And I get that. I think then why don't we try to put that towards like outdoor track and have like
It is interesting, right?
outdoor track prelims where you win the prelim round and you get an
spot.
entry at the trials.
Oh, wow, yes.
So anyone can come in, right?
I would love this.
You have like super easier time trial
we
qualifiers.
should have this event live.
So you just have to be like a sub 14-minute 5K runner.
Okay, maybe 29 or 30 minute,
Yeah.
29
and
minute,
then
10K.
Everyone goes in, and then top 2 finishers
Okay.
get a spot on the track.
I mean, that would be the equivalent, right?
Yeah.
And then for the 100 would be like 10-4 maybe?
10-5.
10-5?
Yeah.
I like this. And then you get the chance to be in the 100-meter
And
first
you, and,
round.
you, and, you, and you host it like the first day, like the first day of the trials. It's like the qualifier round where everyone and their mom, well, not their mom because they had to still run fast. It's not like
Yeah.
open meet, And then they just come in and see. That would be kind of cool because then they have like that golden ticket, and then like they have to wear a special kit. They're like the golden ticket kit, and like every race has one person who's
cool.
like the local.
I mean,
local runner.
the best would be obviously the 10,000 if you could get into the it's only one round, obviously. So you could have a guy in there that qualified. I mean, I just think, is there anything else like this in Olympic qualifying in any other sport? I mean, maybe like distant, like cross-country skiing, maybe. I don't know the answer, but it just seems odd. Like, think about like the U.S. Olympic basketball team. It's not like we got open tryouts for the basketball.
Like biking, like is.
Well, is
Cycling?
cycling an Olympic sport? Yeah, it is. Cycling's an Olympic sport. I mean, I doubt it.
Triathlon, maybe triathlon.
Yeah,
has,
triathlon. Yeah, I could see that.
Everyone can come in.
It just is. I don't know. To me, I know people who run at a sub-elite level will be like, we're bitter for saying this because I don't have any hopes of qualifying.
These people aren't just like walk-ons. They're like very good runners.
They are. But it just, I don't know. The Olympic trials, do we need all these bodies out there?
Yeah.
It's good to have them qualify, but it just seems odd to have Joe Smith, starting next to Galen Rupp. It's like, guys, what's the point of this? It's a trials. It's a trials. They have no shot. It's just kind of pointless. Now, some people are gonna be like, this is a horrible take. I get it, and listen.
But it also could be the right take.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it as it is. I understand. It's there's a point to it to again motivate like solid runners, not great runners, to train, participate in the road racing community. I get that, but it just seems like, oh yeah, that guy's in the trials. Oh no, he literally has 0% shot to make top 3, like 0.
Zero?
They don't need to host a 7-game series between the Los Angeles Lakers and 5 of us guys around here to prove that the Lakers are better. Like, they don't need to do that.
But there might be a day where
we might get hot from 3. Watch out! And every time LeBron goes to the hoop, we take charges, and he gets 19. Yeah, no, it's just, I don't know. That's where it's like, I get in the running community, people are going to look at me like, that's a terrible take, but it just seems like it's a little pointless.
But like you could also say take like when we talk about like who can make the team, right? We narrow the list down dramatically. Like on the women's side, it's like 7 to 10 women.
Yeah.
On the men's side, we're only talking about sometimes 5.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm sure there's guys that are going to hop in there that we wouldn't consider. So
Yeah.
there is points to those people. Like last 4 years ago, I think of Tyler Purnell. I mean, I don't know where he ended up finishing top 10, I believe, but somebody no one was thinking of, and he was like leading past halfway. So it's like, I get that. I'm not saying it should just literally be like Galen Rupp, Scott Fauble, Leonard Career, and Jared Ward, a 4-man race for 3 spots. No, I get that, but like I don't know, 300 people. Maybe we don't need that, all those people. Okay, that's mine. Okay, so speaking of the
I appreciate your take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a Gordon Mack style take, right? The unpopular. Okay, I put together some marathon trials prop bets. Now,
Before we get to that,
Okay.
let's talk a little bit about some other news.
Oh, okay.
Amy Cragg scratching due to
An illness?
illness.
Yes. Yeah, we haven't seen her. Last time I can think
ran-
of seeing her, we saw U.S. Cross. You interviewed her. She also ran in August at Beach to Beacon.
Yeah, that's like the true last.
But
So-
she has like a mono type virus, I think,
Yeah.
right now, which
It's not the kissing disease.
don't ask me. I don't know. I don't know the specifics.
What's
I'm not
Al
gonna.
doing right now? Just
Oh,
like,
jeez,
but
that's serious. I mean, mono can be serious, so
Yeah.
let's give it.
yeah.
I've never had it, but tough. I mean, the defending
Never been.
champion is out, a world championship bronze medalist. I mean, it just opens up another. Even if she wasn't remotely close to fit, and she knew 2 months ago that she wasn't going to be able to run, I doubt she knew that long ago. But if she known for a while and she just announced, still is a surprise and it takes out a contender.
Yeah,
obviously.
and it sucks also for because she was probably thinking. I mean, what age is she at now? She's in mid-30s.
I believe so. Yeah.
So, do you think she has it in her to still go through another 4 years to try to go after 2024, or do you think this is kind of like, this was my?
Sorry.
What's the music?
My wife sends me TikTok. Sorry, I'm just seeing how old she is. She's 36, so she'd
36,
be
so-
40.
Yeah, so I think this is probably her last shot.
Yeah.
So that's that's a bummer.
Oh.
I mean, but in the end, where do you think if this is the end of the Amy Cragg era, where do you think she ranks in like? all
Well, I'd
time?
have to look at it. So she's run. What is she? She ran fast in Tokyo one year, like 2:20, 2:21. I feel like. I mean, getting that bronze medal,
Yeah.
even if it's World Championships.
She's Olympic trials champion. She made 2 teams, right?
Yes.
And then she also got the bronze
London.
in London. She's run in the 220 lows,
2:21:42 in
which is
Tokyo.
a top 5 probably time all time, right?
I have to believe.
US.
Yeah, I have to believe that. Yeah. She's a great in the U.S. I mean, that doesn't get you a ton internationally, but
But I'm talking about like where do you think she will go down as?
well, obviously
like-
behind. I mean, behind Shalane, ahead of Kara. I mean, some of the probably behind Dez. Obviously, even if Dez hasn't run that fast, just Dez's longevity probably beats that. But I mean, getting a medal, running 2:21, and winning the trials. How many people have that?
And making 2 teams, right?
Yeah, on the track and on the roads. She, like I said, I mean, you put her obviously behind Dina, behind Joni, behind Dez, but then you get into that argument of, where.
You say she's top 5?
Oh yeah, I would say top 5. I mean, again, the medal, the 2:21, and winning the trials. That's a resume that a lot of people would take right this second. That's fantastic. Yes, I know it's a medal at the World Championships, but some good Kenyans and Ethiopians run the World Championships, even if it's weak beyond that. It's impressive for her to have done that in 2017. So if this is truly it, I mean, we'll see her again in the marathon, I
think,
imagine.
yeah,
but as far as the Olympics goes, this
Yeah.
is probably her career.
Yeah. It's kind of what if you're do you think there was a part of her who was like, hey, just like, because your sick isn't an injury, right? You can still.
I mean, mono though is an injury. You can't run when you have mono. It's not like having the flu. I mean, you just can't. You could really
guess it was so
get.
cl- I
Mono's a serious thing where you could, if it got serious enough, I think really
true.
be hurt up. So I mean, it's not just like she's
It's not
the
just
flu.
a cold where it can go away.
No, I mean, let me put on my doctor's coat. No, it's not something to take
That was
lightly.
a bad take. I take that back.
Yeah.
It's just so weird, because normally you think of reasons of people pulling out of marathons is, like a physical injury.
Yeah.
You rarely see illness being something.
Yeah,
that
I
takes
just know when
someone
you
out.
train at the high level
Yeah.
and you try to fight through it, it can compound itself and really get worse. And you hope she feels better and maybe
Do you think she'll be able
this
to go after
spring.
Boston?
No, that's too quick. I would say maybe the fall marathon is possible. I have no idea. We just haven't seen her enough. She hasn't raced a marathon for a long time. So who can say? It feels like she has some races left in her if she can get healthy, but it's all up in the air. But it takes away now. I mean, like I said, it just cuts off one of the contenders, and now it's down to what it feels like: Huddle, Sisson, Linden, Hasse, Hall. And then maybe Kellen Taylor and Steph Bruce type of people. I'm sure I'm forgetting some. Tuliamuk. I mean it's just one less name for that group of women to fight through in Atlanta.
You're still on the Des train, right? That's what you said last
She's my
pod?
pick because I think the course is really tough, and that's just who I feel the most confident on in a tough course, And I don't think there's any question marks around her other than she's been doing this for a long time. But you could say it's obviously like when I make that pick, I'm choosing to ignore any supposed question marks about her. But there's question marks about whether Huddle can swing it in the marathon. Hesse had an injury last time and only ran 2 miles. Sisson, this will be her second marathon ever. Hall has run fast, but she didn't run well last year in Boston and New York. Her kind of the big races domestically, so you don't really know if. And she's a 0-time Olympian, so it's like there's the experience factor and then question mark factor. And when I look at it, I don't see those on Des Linden, so that's why I'm going.
But could you also say that looking at what Des Linden has done the past 2 years or 3 years, obviously the thing that pops up is the Boston win. Mm-hmm. But can you take that Boston win with a grain of salt because of the conditions?
Of course.
So therefore, when you take that result out,
I don't even think of that result though. I think of the fact that she's.
Well, what did
she's
she finish
consistent.
at New York? What did she finish at New York?
6th or 7th, I think.
Was she the top American? Did she get beat?
I think she was the top American.
I thought she got.
I mean, if
she was the second American. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
Callan Taylor and her were within.
They were like together.
Yeah, they were close. I do think it was still Des. I could totally be wrong.
But here's the thing. I mean, this isn't a good way to analyze runners. Transitive property isn't really the best way. But if I said, where do you think Callan Taylor ranks in the field, you would probably say 5 to 7 range.
4 to 6 range. But yeah.
Right. So then Des finishes with Kellen, literally the most recent marathon. Yet that 4 to 6 range woman that she was with.
Yeah, I get it.
She's now, but number
well,
one,
I didn't say that the results weren't going to be 5 women within 6 seconds of each other. I mean, that may happen. I doubt it, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't know who else to feel good about. I mean, Sisson, I guess, but that was at London on a fastish course. Like, I don't know who to feel good about other than Des.
Like you would have felt good about Hesse if she was healthy.
Right. I mean, she pulled out of Houston. I mean, I don't know if that was injury or just precautionary, but I don't know if I. And she hasn't run. Hesse hasn't run like in her previous like Olympic trials or like World Team qualifications. I know they've been on the track, but she's never really performed on the. Listen, she's run well in Chicago. She's run well in Boston multiple times for Boston, but I don't know. I have anxiety around her.
I think the reason why is because literally the 2020 field is all new people. I mean, it's majority. Des is the only holdover from 2016 in a way.
Yeah, I mean Taylor was there, and she's about the same level, if not a little bit better. But other than that, yeah, when we're looking at obviously Sisson, Huddle,
like how many people?
Hesse,
how many of the contenders were U.S. marathoners in 2016? Huddle wasn't.
No.
Sisson wasn't. Was Hesse?
Not yet. No.
Not yet. Tulamuk probably wasn't even American.
Diego
wasn't an American.
Yeah.
So it's 5. Hall was, but she had just started.
Yeah, she wasn't good yet. I mean, nearly as good as she is now.
Like, it's just, Craig's gone now. Like, it's just like.
It's shifted.
I think because of that, you're so leaning into the known of Desi. Yeah. Because you have all this unknown. But I just feel like.
I do like to look at, though, the kind of what Kevin pointed out a couple days ago when you look at like the last few results, like 2016, it was established names who made the team: Des, Shalane, Amy Cragg. 2012, Kara, Shalane, and why am I forgetting now? 2012, who else made the team? Desi, of course. So it's just like it feels like experience matters. This may be the time to break through when there's so many. Or several young talents.
Not any overlap, but like it's kind of like a break in like
there's
new
a break.
Generation.
Yeah. I mean, part of that may have been. It's not necessarily a trend that just all established names only make the team. It may have been like Chalaine was really really good for a long time, and now she's gone, and Kara's gone, and Amy Cragg is not running, and so maybe it's time for a changing of the guard. I mean, I just haven't been able to decide between who do I think has the most talent and who has the most experience. I'm leaning towards experience, but I could easily also see it being a team of Jordan Hesse, Emily Sisson, and Molly Huddle. Yeah. Like I could see that because
you could
those are the I can use my eyes in my mind and
just
see
visualize
them
that
because I've seen those
in
people
Atlanta.
before. Yes, I've seen it. So
you got some potential prop bets that you're working
yes. I don't, like I said, mentioned, I don't run I'm not in Vegas. I don't know. I don't really understand pluses or minuses or, odds necessarily. But I just
Have you
have
ever
some.
gambled before?
Yeah, on my
You left time up or down?
my bachelor party. I mean, I probably lost like $100, and I was like, enough. I mean, my bachelor party, my buddy got up like $1,000, which I thought was a lot. Back when you're first getting starting to get life together, I was like, oh, he's up $1,000, and lost it that day.
that
just
same
trying to
day.
make $1,000 $10,000.
Yeah.
I don't know what he ended. I probably end up losing $500, but it's just like, man, that's tempting to just cash out. Anyways, yeah, I'm not a gambler.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
That
probably.
means you're up lifetime up on above most gamblers.
Wait, I may have just
rankings.
accidentally deleted this. Hold on.
Did you delete your? You wrote it down, right?
Hold on. Got to search for this now. Prop. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Thought I deleted it. Okay, so I have some topics that I think could be formulated into prop bets. Again, don't really know the odds, but if you're not familiar, prop bets are like kind of niche things that could happen in the broadcast or in the race that maybe it's not solely dedicated
Like in the
to
NFL, it's the coin flip. Who wins
the coin flip, how long the national anthem will go.
Yes. What color will the Gatorade be?
Yeah. So these types of things. So here's my first one: marathon trials prop bets. Meb Keflezighi, who's not racing, will be mentioned within the first 20 minutes of the broadcast. Do we think that is let's just go yes or no. Do you think that's a yes?
We'll instead of putting odds, everything will be a toss-up.
Toss-up. Yeah. So these are all 50. Meb.
All
so
50-50. He will be named.
so he's not racing. He's 44 years old now.
I'll go even. It's not first 20 minutes. He'll be named within the first. He'll be named in the opening 5 minutes.
You think? Even though he's not racing?
They're gonna show the finish of 2016.
Okay. Yeah. Good point. Okay. So that's my next one. I feel good about the first 20 minutes. That's a pretty long time. They got to fill a lot of air, and we all have so much fun at the expense of commentators who maybe don't commentate track and field all year long, and they do the trials, and there's commercial breaks. Track Twitter likes to get up for the trials and make some complaints. Yeah. I'll get to some of that more in just a minute. My next one, a little more controversial. Alberto Salazar will be mentioned within the first 10 minutes. Galen Rupp, obviously formerly coached by Alberto Salazar for years and years and years. He's the favorite on the inside.
This is another 100%.
Okay.
It's going to happen.
Within the first 10 minutes?
I'm making a lot of money right now.
Yeah. Within the first 10 minutes.
I'm parlaying this right now.
Okay.
Hard.
Got it. Well, we're moving on.
You're going to talk about Galen Rupp, and then they're going to mention
the fact that his old coach is banned.
Yeah,
okay.
And then his new coach is Mike Smith.
Can't wait.
Well, he won't be there because he'll be at the Big Sky Conference Championships.
Perfect timing. Galen Rupp also not in the press conference. How in the world did the defending champion swing not being in the press conference? Anyways, next one. Jared Ward having his masters in marathon pacing will be mentioned within the first half.
He's a masters in marathon pacing?
Optimal marathon pacing.
It's like a
no, it's not a joke.
Thing?
No. That's he wrote his thesis, or I should say he has his master's, but he wrote his master's thesis on optimal marathon pacing. His master's
What
is.
would be the equivalent for you? It'd be like writing a thesis on article writing or like optimal CMS uploading.
Leaving work early.
Optimal. You have a master's on IKEA.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a master's. Maybe drinking beer at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Friday. So writing his thesis. Will it be mentioned that Jared Ward wrote his thesis on marathon pacing in the first half?
No.
You don't think so? Yeah, I feel like that'll be mentioned. That's just such a niche fact that's like, well, I'm going to pick him because he
I think they're going to talk
smart.
about Shark Tank.
Oh, Shark Tank will be.
Because it's NBC.
Although it's NBC, that's on ABC. You don't want
it's not. Isn't it CNBC?
They may show replays.
Shark Tank's not on ABC.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's on CNBC.
Well, unless they've changed it since Shark Tank. I'm looking it up.
I think it's on CNBC.
Okay, hold on.
Am I right?
I'm sure they show replays. It says ABC here.
You're right.
All
right, so they won't talk about Shark.
They can talk about it, and they can just be like, he's on a show. I think that'll get mentioned. Des Linden liking whiskey is mentioned at any point.
Yes.
She loves whiskey.
These are all yeses.
Yeah, I
We're
know.
just trying to find the most popular fun fact at all these NBC.
Okay, well here's
broadcasters.
one. Here's my next one. This one's a little dicey. This one's a reach. The Houston Astros cheating scandal is discussed at any point. Does that somehow come up? I mean, it's tangentially. We've got I was thinking shoes in track and field. Some people are calling the vapor flies, alpha flies, cheater shoes, cheater flies, cheater. If you do some name association, you think sports, MLB.
Bad tattoos.
Yeah.
Jose Altuve. Boom.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking that one's a tough one. You know, you put down $1, you may be able to get like 100 out of that if that.
What do you think is the equivalent of what the Astros did, and if like that level of cheating? What's the equivalent of that for track?
Yeah, I mean, you want to say PEDs, but that's not as fun. I was thinking.
Well, because this is something new. It's a new way to cheat.
New way to cheat. I mean,
doing drugs is a known way to cheat. Yeah. So what would be like a new way to? Would it be like some type
like
of
a lighter shot put? I mean, I don't know. Like hollowing out your shot.
I think you know what? I think it would be because they knew what was coming, right? So they know what was coming. So I think it would be paying off other runners in a race.
Oh, fixing the race.
To sabotage.
That's
paces.
a good one.
So you know when like it's gonna go hard and not hard. You know what's gonna happen because you have people in the race who are not pacers. They're just a random representative from Estonia, and you know exactly what he's gonna do to control the race.
I mean, track feels rife for bribery, not just the officials and the higher-ups, but the athletes themselves. Nobody's really getting rich off track other than Bolt. So, I mean, it could happen. Maybe. Man. Yeah.
In high school, we had an athlete purposely take out another athlete in a dual meet.
Like tackle?
Like just like
mess with them.
Mess
with them the whole
just
time.
constantly rub up against them and just get in his way all the time, like always be in front of him.
Yeah.
And he wasn't trying to win because he knew he wasn't good.
Yeah.
Just to mess with their top athlete.
Hey man, playing a little defense. Playing a little defense. I don't mind it.
Is that illegal?
No, I think gamesmanship. I mean, team
But
tactics.
being super rough,
Well, yeah, if you get disqualified.
Getting rough enough to get disqualified.
Oh, okay. Well, if you got disqualified, that's against the rules, obviously.
But
it's a little sketchy.
The rougher gets disqualified. The person who takes advantage of the disqualification doesn't get disqualified.
No, it's a good point.
You're
tackle that person.
Yeah, and then you're both.
You can't go so far as have the race nullified. We've gone down a rabbit hole here. But yeah, I'd say paying off other athletes to manipulate the race.
Because I was thinking what should happen is all the coaches of the 16th ranked athlete in the NCAA in the distance events needs to pay off a coach at MPSF to screw up the paces. So none of them
My goodness. There's not enough money in track and field to be involved to have that type of conspiracy, but maybe if you're a coach and you need
I want more conspiracies in track and
I'm
field.
sure there's some that we just don't know about. But okay.
Okay. Go back to your
Sorry, my list. So
I'm going to parlay all because
I like the word parlay. At least 5 Coca-Cola commercials. Now, races in Atlanta, Coca-Cola is a major sponsor. I don't know why, but Coke.
The Olympics, right?
Yeah. I'm thinking at least 5 Coca-Cola commercials throughout the 2 to 3.
Broadcast is 3 hours long?
3 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably happens. I should have done 10. That would have been.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 cutaways that miss significant race moments.
Ooh.
I should have done 3 or 4, but.
Now, I have a feeling, though, they're not going to do that. I have a feeling they're going to do the whole picture-in-picture thing. Mm-hmm. Right? Because sometimes, they get someone involved with the broadcast and they don't cut away to commercial. They, do commercial and race still going on. They've done that.
You see that.
They did that at Millrose.
Did they? Okay, I didn't watch it on TV. I watched it on the app. So, okay. Well.
The only time I think would be, because both races are happening at the same time.
Right.
They could, want to go big screen on just the women's race. Mm-hmm. And then during that moment, something happens in the men's race. But what they would do is they're going to show the replay of it.
Okay. Yeah. Still going to get people.
I think they're going to do a good job. I think the whole thing that was negative last time was they didn't have the live splits, but there was a reason for that.
Oh, buddy.
There was a reason for that most people don't know about.
Yeah.
I'll keep that internal.
Yeah.
But we know why there was no live splits.
Yeah.
But they're going to have live splits this time.
Good.
Yeah,
That's good to hear. Okay. We all know Kyle Merber will be active on social media. He's not obviously involved in the race in any shape or form other than just being a professional runner and being kind of a track influencer, if you will. So Kyle Merber will tweet something during the trials, during the race, that will get over 100 retweets.
Yes.
You think?
100%.
100? I mean, you know, he's probably
his
workshopping some jokes.
His baseline's probably like 30 to 40, right?
Yeah, you're right. Something. So he's going to have a lot more attention.
People, yeah.
Okay, 100%.
Do you think he feels pressure?
Like, I couldn't be funny on Twitter every single day, man. It's tough. And be a professional runner and like live in New York. I mean, it's a tough life. It's tough to be Kyle Merber. It's a tough life. So, okay, 100. Maybe that's not fair because people could listen and be like, well, if I bet on this, I can increase the odds. Yeah. Just hit it and tell maybe one of my friends with a lot of followers to retweet it. Yeah. That's ripe for conspiracy.
All right. We could just retweet it from FloTrack's account and then.
There you go. There you go.
Make all that money.
Okay. Jordan Hesse being coached by Paula Radcliffe. Will that be discussed?
Jordan Hesse being coached by Paula Radcliffe.
Radcliffe.
Yeah, I mean, it'll just be mentioned. I feel like all these top people would be like, not coached by Paula Radcliffe.
Yeah. Okay. The
Do
corona.
you think the word disgraced will be associated to Alberto Salazar?
No, that's too strong.
What will they call him? How will they reference it? The ban?
I think they'll mention it and not necessarily indicate. I mean, it's obviously implicit that it's negative, but just like, and he's serving a anti-doping ban and like no mention of it probably.
Will they mention that he's like appealing it and that like?
No, I don't think so because I don't think you want to associate. I mean, I'm sure there's probably specifics and like related to advertising that they're like, we don't want to bring up. It's not like on the Olympic Games. I mean, how much when we watch the Olympics and Justin Gatlin and are they like renegotiating all of Justin Gatlin's history?
Yeah,
it's like you don't want to associate negative. People don't want to tune in that are like first timers or like newbies or just watch the Olympics to be like.
Yeah. They don't want to be this local Channel 6 news.
Yeah, it's like they talked about drug users the whole time. Like what?
Yeah. That's true. That's a good point.
Okay, next one. Sorry.
How many do you have? Where did you write all these?
This morning. The coronavirus. Will they talk about the coronavirus? Now, the Tokyo Marathon recently, which is a day after the trials, Tokyo Marathon got reduced to just an elite race.
I don't think they'll even bring up the Tokyo Marathon.
You don't think? But, I mean, the Olympics are in Tokyo. Coronavirus in China, nearby. I'm just...
Yeah.
That's a tough one, right? I would probably bet on that one. I would say... Again, don't have the odds. So people that are like watching this that are like actual gamblers are like, what's wrong with these guys?
Will there be like B-roll of coronavirus stuff?
No B-roll.
They're not gonna. I don't think they will.
You don't think they're going to talk about the coronavirus?
No, I'm willing to go with a no on that.
Okay.
That's my one. That's gonna make my parlay huge.
All right.
By going on the opposite end of that one.
Eliud Kipchoge is discussed.
Mentioned, yes. Discussed, no.
You don't think so? I mean, you got to cover quite a bit of. I mean, Galen Rupp ran in the same race, the 2016 Olympics. Where Kipchoge won gold.
No, I just think like they're gonna like compare
sorry.
what these runners are doing to Kipchoge. Like there's gonna be a lower third that says what the world record is and have
you think
Kipchoge on it. Yeah, I think it's just like he'll be mentioned as a reference point. It's kind of like dump on U.S. athletes. Like, meanwhile, this guy ran 159 and these people are out there running 212.
Yeah, it's a little rough. Okay. They will discuss how hot it was in Los Angeles 4 years ago. Will they talk about the weather in relation? Weather should be temperate, should be nice.
I feel like you're just like mentioning everything that
they might talk about.
It's like
I have access to the Run of Show.
Yeah, that's what I'm really
I hacked into the database at NBC and have access to the Run of Show. So no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I just thought of these on the fly,
that's
man.
Good though. I like it.
I thought of these on the fly. So
I want something that's like. Here's a question. How many non-sponsored athletes will be mentioned?
Well, Jake Riley's in the press conference, so seemingly they'll.
Sponsored?
I don't think he's sponsored, right?
Okay.
I mean, no, I don't think he's sponsored. So they seemingly could have producers go in and get quotes and say, oh, he comes up. So I think he'll be mentioned. I don't know if there's any women.
But like I know because technically Jake is not sponsored, but I would consider Jake like a known.
He is.
Like I'm talking about how many names will be mentioned where you literally like how many like this is a mother of two doing the trials type. Or like
you can't. That would normally, I think, be a lot, but
because they do that a lot during major marathons, right? Where they have like those.
I wouldn't say a lot, do they?
They do like the stories, like
yeah.
Oh, this old man running his 100th marathon. Like are there gonna be how many like?
Yeah, there's probably one or two feel good stories. Maybe one per race. One for the men's race, another for the women's. I mean, you got to talk about the actual race, right? It's not like they have like
2 hours, man. Are they?
I know, but it's not like they have like an hour pre-show or anything like that. I mean, I
think they do more than one.
Okay, I was saying 2 total, 1 for the men's, 1 for the women's. But okay, you're gonna go beyond 2. These are real bets that we're doing here.
Now you do have a point, but I think, dude, it's TV, man. They want to talk about the person who's like the oldest one in the field.
Oh yeah, Bernard Lagat. He'll be mentioned probably.
Yeah, but he's not. He's sponsored, right? Is he still sponsored?
Yeah, he's sponsored. I forgot we were doing non-sponsored.
Remember when he retired?
Did he?
Did he ever like retire, or did he purposely say I'm retiring from track? Or
that's what I was discussing this with Kevin. It's like obviously he won the trials in 2016. Did he stop running track after 2016? Did he run track in 2017? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
So he's just been doing this marathon game for a bit. 6 weeks in Kenya, man. Watch out for 45-year-old Bernard Lagat. I don't know.
He can't quit. He's addicted to running.
Sixth Olympic team he's going for.
What if he did make it?
Yeah, that would be nuts. That would be wild. I mean, he's only run 2:12, so I have a pretty good feeling he's not going to make it, but that would be quite the story. That would be quite the story. Let's see. Do I have any more?
How many parlays you got? Parlay or how old were you when you learned what the word parlay meant?
I was yesterday years old. I don't know.
Do you know what parlay means?
It's like put a bet on top of a bet, right? Yeah.
So like it only works if all of them hit.
Yeah. So
the odds go up.
But if I just went up to a place, I'd like to do this and parlay that, I'd probably not really know what I just did and probably be an idiot and probably just go ahead and give them my money because I know I'm going to lose.
More?
They're not funny. I think we've reached the stage that we're funny. I was going to say clips of Galen Rupp's winning the bronze medal. That will clearly be mentioned.
Dez's Boston victory was shown.
Yeah, that's a good one. Shoe technology is discussed.
100%.
You think?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's not confusing to the regular viewer. See, you got to kind of tailor it to. There's a big audience of people that are knowledgeable about it, but there's even way bigger audience of people that are just like, what's on NBC?
Careful with the mic.
Oh yeah, what's on NBC today? Oh, it's the marathon. I've never watched a marathon. I'm gonna play a drinking game and watch this entire marathon, and they're gonna be like, they're talking about honey. They're talking about shoes the whole time. What is this? It could be a little confusing. It'd be like watching baseball and be like, honey, they're talking about gloves the entire time. It's just like, it's a little odd. It's like, why aren't they talking about the race?
Yeah, no, but they talked about Deflategate the whole time, and they're talking about the air in a football.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
I think it's not far-fetched to not know anything about a marathon and then hear them talking about the shoes that they're running in.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
It would be more weird if they're talking about their gloves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because why do they have gloves? Who cares?
Well, they have stick them on it, so anytime the baseball hits the glove, it's just like caught.
So there's one other story that I'm not sure if you noticed.
Good, because I'm struggling here.
Down. So I just want to know your takes on it. We have an Atlanta Hadley 2.0.
Oh yes.
In 2020, I won't say her name. Well, I guess I could say her name, but there's a high schooler who is going to be running in the trials from Minnesota.
Okay.
She ran 2:40.03 in 2018 at the Twin Cities Marathon.
So she's high schooler age. She would have been what back then? Like 16? My goodness
16,
gracious.
16? So
I remember Tierney Wolfgram from Roy Griak. I feel like she's
okay. So that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's Tierney Wolfgram.
I spilled the beans.
Spilled the beans.
I mean, it's an article on Runner's World.
Yeah, it's true. So that's what we talk. So Runner's World did a little piece on her. For those, so guys, I suggest you go to runnersworld.com and check it out. But I just think her story is kind of interesting, a little controversial.
I mean, running a marathon in high school, if you're talking about development.
So hear me out. So she was typically running 55 miles per week.
Okay.
For a high schooler.
Fine.
Okay, that's fine. And she was itching to do more. That's what they're saying. Like running cross-country 5Ks wasn't enough. So she ran a marathon. She got her mileage up to 100 miles per week.
Yeah, we're starting to get into sketchy territory there.
Then stress fractures started to come. She got a stress fracture outdoor of 2019. Got another one in fall of 2019.
Okay, not good.
Maybe it's because you increase your mileage to 100 miles.
Nearly 50%, but
You're
okay.
16 years old. And then she decided to quit school and move to Albuquerque with her dad.
Yep.
And take online classes
to
train.
I'm out. I'm out on this. This is insane. This is crazy. Don't do this. I mean, parents are in charge of their own kids, and I get that. She's a good runner. But she's getting injured, and she's dropping out of school. You know what's more important than getting 78th in the U.S. Olympic Marathon Trials? Is finishing high school in your high school. Online classes for like a 17-year-old? Is she like, would she be a senior right now? Is she a senior, or what is...
How old is she? She is...
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, listen.
Wait, she was a freshman in 20... She's a high school junior.
That's it?
High school junior.
Yeah, this is nuts. I feel 100% confident saying that this is a poor decision.
She ran the 240 the summer after her freshman year.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Because she was...
Oh, she's only 16 right now. 16. Yeah, it says she's only 16 right now.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
What? It's so... So apparently, in order to run in Twin Cities, you have to be 18 or older, but they made an exception for her.
This is...
Because this
is outrageous. And the trials don't have a late... I would have thought the trials you had to be 18 or over.
Well, that was a thing with Hadley, right?
Right, she was too young, right? Did they change that rule?
I guess they changed it. I don't know. Got parent permission form. But like, it's just like you hear about injuries happen. We get it. You can't hold someone against for injuries, but 100 miles per week is not normal.
No, when you get 2 stress fractures, I think that's a sign you're doing something wrong. Yeah. If you're running 100-mile weeks at 16, that's a mistake. Doubling down on that by dropping out of school, and I understand she's taking online classes, that's fine. But you cannot convince me this is not messing up her future, both mentally and physically. This is crazy.
Yeah, and like I get like
she's not going to make the team. Yeah. She's not going to finish top 50. What are we doing? She's not going to sign a contract. She's not Sydney McLaughlin. Like, she's not a phenom. Yeah. She's good.
Well, I think that's a problem. That could be an issue that we talked about with like maybe people who don't know much about the running world. They equate qualifying for Olympic trials as like extremely elite when really, yes, you're good, but like the extreme elite are like the people who are like top 20 at the trials. You know,
if that, I mean, yeah, maybe even top 10. Can't be that good in the marathon at 16. Your body's not ready for it. It's as she's showing that it's not healthy to try to put it in the training to become that quickly. You can't abbreviate the marathon training. You can't go from 55 to 100. And I have no doubt that she's committed and that, you know, if she's in a position where she's getting support from her parents, but this isn't Taylor Swift and her parents moving her to Nashville, you know, to start a career young. This is too much too soon. There's no way this does not backfire. She's already injured.
This is a quote from the article. After her marathon debut, Wolfgram received an overwhelming amount of feedback, both positive and negative, a la Lincoln just now, from the running community. Her supporters praised her feat and predicted that she'd dominate at the state and national levels in cross country again. Others, meanwhile, speculated that the marathon would ruin her season because of the toll it took on her body. And then she says, I didn't read a lot of the negative comments, but the positive ones got stuck in my head. I felt a lot of pressure to win and live up to expectations.
That's interesting.
I didn't want to let anyone down, you know.
Yeah, this isn't good.
Yeah.
This is bad.
It's just like, you know.
It's not too late to stop this. This is nuts.
It's like, be a high school kid and like.
Well, you can't help but think this is
NXN.
Listen,
Live
yeah,
that
we
life.
saw how this happened with Alana Hadley. It didn't work.
Yeah.
I don't think she dropped out of school, but like, you know, she went professional and decided not to run in college. She's not running anymore.
Yeah.
She quit.
Which is okay. It's okay not to
It's fine.
be a professional runner.
But
Like,
if your
it's okay
goal
be
is to
normal
have
high
a,
school
but
kid
if
or
your
a college
goal
kid.
is in, especially in the long distances, if your goal is to be Des Linden,
This isn't the path.
you can't.
But maybe her goal
It's
isn't
almost
that.
impossible.
Maybe her goal isn't that.
It's just to run at the trials at 16.
Yeah, it's to have fun. Maybe she's not thinking like, I want to be a paid professional athlete at 25, doing all this stuff. It's like maybe it's like I want to go do this hobby activity.
That's a good point. You're right. I'm
like maybe she looks at the trip to
predetermining-
Albuquerque as like a fun little field trip. Like,
But I mean,
whoa.
no. I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, seemingly like, is she hanging out with kids her age? Like, I can't imagine that. Like, a lot of my development as a
Well, I think she's hanging. She's joining. She's practicing with a boys' high school team in Albuquerque, and her dad's just there. So I'm sure she's still being a high school kid. But the main thing is like, I think here's the thing. Your criticism is 100% right, but I think a lot of times media or just like people who follow track and field have these expectations on the reason people the reason people run, right? And we kind of think the reason people run is to get better, to try to move up in level, to eventually make the Olympics and be a professional and do the whole, this order. Some people run because they're just like, it's a hobby and they like it. And maybe she is not thinking like, I want to be, like you said, the next Des Linden. Maybe she's like, I want to be a doctor. I'm just like having fun running, so I'm going to go for a run.
Here's the thing, though. You don't drop out of school. You don't remove yourself from public or private high school where there's other kids your age to go train full time and take online classes if that is your thing. Maybe she's a 1 in a million, and that you're right. She's like, well, online classes will allow me for my future career, and I'm doing this right now. But no. You don't do this unless you have a misguided view of your running future, I think. I mean, multiple.
Because the main thing is like, like you said, it's not good for her future career, but like,
It's not good
not
for
having a professional running career is not
the worst thing. No, I don't have
thing.
one.
So,
yeah,
we don't have one. It's like, and we're fine.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Most people in the world don't have professional running careers.
That's true, but
so to like say like, how dare you let go of a professional running career?
most people aren't running 100 miles a week. I don't think though if you're running 100 miles a week unless you have a a vision of yourself being a superstar runner. What's the point? I mean, I guess you're getting ready for the trials, but she ran that 240, right? And she wasn't running 100-mile weeks? Just
I think
run.
she was. Yeah.
Okay.
Because basically she,
This is a shame.
you're
This
a
is
freshman. She's a freshman in
embarrassment.
high school. She's running 5Ks, and she's like, I want to run more.
Yeah.
So like, all right, let's go do a marathon after freshman year
Yeah.
in the summer. And then she starts running more and more. She's like addicted to running, basically. It's like fun for her, right?
Listen, I've never met Tierney, and I hope the best for her and her dad, and I hope she runs well at the trials, and I hope she's getting everything out of her running that she wants. That's all I can hope for. I can keep my criticism of what they're doing separate from that. I have no ill will at all, and hope she ends up living out whatever dream she has in running. This just is an interesting way to go about it, and I don't think it's the best way, but that's just one man's opinion.
I'm reading this. This is the last line. I'm excited to line up alongside my running idols like Sarah Hall and Jordan Say.
Yeah, there you go.
Not many high schoolers can say they've done that.
Probably none. Yeah. Probably
So,
none. Is she the first high schooler to ever run the trials? I mean, I would feel like it, right?
so they said Kirk Pfeiffer ran in 1976 when he was 19.
Okay.
Kathy O'Brien, 1984 at age 16.
Oh, okay.
And then
So not-
Alana Hadley was 16 in 2013, but she dropped out of the championship. So
in 2013?
2013.
What was that? What race was that?
Well, she qualified in 2013
Oh.
for the 2016 trials.
Oh, I see.
But she ended up not running in the trials.
Okay.
So she would have been older. So she would have been like 19 when it came to the trials.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I
So
see.
she qualified at a young age, though.
Whew, I don't know, man. I just don't know about that, but wish the best to her
She's
and
going to go out there and get third and just dunk on you.
blow my
Yes.
mind. Just hey, I would gladly eat crow if that's the situation that happens. I just don't think that's going to be it. Coming off running
But here's
240.
the thing, like, I know age is like a thing we think about and stuff like that, but what about, like, there's probably Kenyans out there who are age 16, 17 who can do this, right? Like
Yeah, but I don't know, I mean, it's obviously comparing a first world country to not
but
a
like
first
the
world
idea
country,
that, like,
but
I'm trying to be devil's advocate for the sake of
Yeah.
conversation, just so you know.
No, I
I'm
get that.
mostly on your side.
No, I get it.
For this whole take.
yeah.
But like, there's been times when young people have done extraordinary things. So like the idea that like you're young, you're banned, I don't think is like 100% a way we should always operate, right? Because like there are
No,
outliers.
there's a ton of ageism. I acknowledge that, but it would just be better, just because because this is the problem I think also with having the qualifier be a little soft, is you welcome in athletes that probably don't have any business in the race, and that could maybe, especially in this scenario, hurt her long-term development if running long-term is her goal.
So yeah, make the standard 235,
and then you kind of eliminate
don't-
some of these
you have
things.
people-
I understand you want people to qualify, and again, like I said earlier, have this incentive for these athletes that are good, not great, to something to train for, that advertises the sport at a high level. But I don't know, man. I don't agree with this, but I'm also not a parent of a teenager. So
I like to think that the parents were like, our daughter made the Olympic trials. She can make the Olympics.
Yeah, I would hope
like
that's not.
I think they thought like she can make the Olympics.
I would hope they're not that
right? And then they thought, okay.
disillusioned or whatever.
And then they Googled how to make the Olympics. And then they looked at like, they were like, where do elite runners train? And they just Googled it, and Albuquerque
yeah,
popped up. And
high
they're like,
level, yeah.
and they bought a ticket on Southwest.
That is wild,
And then
man.
they
And
went-
just went there
just
and
went for it.
maybe the altitude training will pay off and she'll
Yeah.
run in the 230s. But it's a hard course. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. Look forward to seeing how she does. But hopefully, I just wish him for the best for her and long
Yeah, your
term.
criticism is coming from a side of love, right?
Don't know of her, but yeah, I would say that.
You're
It's just-
looking out for the well-being of the
16
athlete,
Which means she was probably born in 2003. I mean, my goodness gracious.
To get used to that, man. There's more and more people born in the
Yeah,
2000s
that's just
who are going to be involved in your day-to-day life.
Yeah,
Isn't that weird?
it's crazy.
There's one day it's going to be your boss is going to be born in the 2000s.
Well, okay, now slow down.
That will happen one day.
That'll happen. I mean, yeah, I guess after I'm CEO, but we'll see. All right, should we call it?
I think we call it. That's the FloTrack podcast. Thanks for listening. If you listen to all 5 episodes,
Wow.
you are a champion.
Yeah.
We'll do this every day on the weekday, so we won't be back till Monday. But until then, I'm Gordon. This is Lincoln.
Hey.
And next week, man, trials week.
Trials week. That's
It's going to be a fun week. And
yes.
conferences. Next weekend is going to be a wild weekend. on
Yeah,
FloTrack.
we
It's gonna
thought
be wild.
USA's weekend and BU and Husky and all those. No, this next weekend's
Conferences,
gonna be lit.
trials, and BU Last Chance. And BU Last Chance starts on Thursday.
Whoa.
So you have Thursday, Friday would be Last Chance, trials on Saturday, and then Sunday we recap it all and the craziness of it all. So,
Can't wait.
all right, guys, we'll see you next week.